obviously it's much easier to do this when the pocket's not sewn on, but I didn't know how big my pockets were going to have to be. So if you're making one, you can do this before. You sew the pockets on. It's just a fly stitch. It's one of my favourite styles of leaves to do, just a felt shape. So I straight stitch down the centre to start and come out at the side at a bit of an angle and go over to the other side, sort of making a horizontal, an imaginary horizontal line, go in at the side, come back up where you went in before from your straight stitch. Okay, don't pull tight because we're going to put our needle under that so that it pulls down into a V. Okay, so straight stitch, come out at the side up at an angle. So you can see the way that the needle lies now is where the stitch is going to lie eventually. Okay, come over straight to the other side, back in and come out at the bottom of your straight stitch, put your needle under to pull the V down. It's a bit gloomy today, it's rainy. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I have got all my lights on, but over we go. Down. Nice. Then, for ease, I've just been tying it off, hidden underneath my yo-yo. Take a stitch, pull it through the loop, take another stitch just to secure. There you go. Do the same on this side. It's coming along nicely, and it's really fun now because all the things I need to make this are in this. So it's very handy. Okay, so it's time to put in the elastic to hold our thread. So my elastic arrived. If you have thinner hair elastic or something like that, that would do the job just fine. I did think about just using string, but the idea that it can sort of stretch makes it go around that button much more easily. So I think I'd like to put my Aurifil in this kit. It's nice and fine for English paper piecing. And I'm just marking this up. Well, I think I sort of need to mark that top and bottom point, you know, so I know where to put the button and I know where to insert the elastic. I'm not just going to trust my eye. Lately it's been a little skew-if. So this should help me mark it up more evenly. To get the centre. that's looking a bit better. So it's like it's centered between the binding and the needle book. Okay, now this sharp pointy thing is called an awl, A-W-L, and it makes a hole in your fabric by opening the weave. So if you're gentle and careful, as you insert it further and further, it actually just spreads the fibres of the fabric open without breaking them, which is important because then that means we're not going to get a hole that will keep fraying. So I just need to open the weave large enough here that I can insert the knot. It is a bit of a fiddle. It does take patience. Now, if you're doing this, you might want to do this before you sew the pockets on the other side. In fact, you might want to do this before you quilt the fabric. So remember, right at the start of the project, I quilted a sort of wadding layer in between these two pieces of linen. So you could actually do this back then. So you've got your wadding and one linen piece, and then put this through easily, and then the other linen piece goes over the top. Now, I just had to, work the weave back together so that it's not an open hole, because if it's an open hole, it's just going to pull through. Okay, let's stitch down our button. I had a lot of fun going through the big button jar to pick this one. I had quite a few contenders, but this one in the end won out. I figured there's sort of a lot going on, so it's nice just to have one that blends in with the background colour, but with a little pop of shine, a little, elegant gold ring around it. Even though I didn't have all the elements in place yet, I have been sitting already and working with this on my lap. You saw the sneak peek before of the extra embellishments on the pockets with the leaves and things. So it is working a treat. It's perfect lap size, so it just sits easily on my lap like a little table, a little portable station. And I've got everything I need to do my hand sewn yo-yos and hexagons. It's brilliant. I'm so happy. I'm figuring, this is going to take a lot of tension with the elastic sort of pulling on it on and off all the time when I change out threads. So I just wanted to secure it really well, make sure it lasts. So that's that knotted off. Let's lose the end of the thread underneath. Okay, that is another element ready. Get rid of the pen lines, the erasable pen. This is just a water brush. That makes it very handy to get rid of the pen that erases with water. I just realised I was looking everywhere for somewhere to put my needle down. I'm going to have to get used to my needle keeper there, aren't I? and get in the habit of always putting it down there. Crochet hook will help me get that elastic through. Super easy. Ta-da! Look at that. So good. You sick of being on your head? Let's have a look at it round the right way, shall we? I've got bits all over my table here. So that's what it looks like. That will be the perfect size. So I want to make a little drawstring pouch to put my tiny thimble in. You can see I just used the little fingertip press on metal thimble, and I'm thinking of just using a yo-yo to do it, but instead of course pulling it up tight and doing a permanent knot, I'm just going to leave it as a drawstring. So this concept is already working perfectly because I needed to know what size yo-yo to make, and I could just put my thimble against the pre-made yo-yo and go on, yes, that's the right size. I'm a very visual person. It helps a lot just to be able to see what the finished size will be. I think I've mentioned before, of course, you can completely make yo-yos without these tools, but they certainly do make the process very uniform and enjoyable. Very neat. It's nice and easy to stitch them because they're held firmly in their little template. So I've just used a slightly thicker embroidery thread to use as this drawstring. This is actually cotton embroidered. I guess maybe is it just broder cotton, do we say in English? Now down the track I might run into troubles because I did try to be economical here and just use that tiny charm square, which does leave not much seam allowance. However, it is zigzagged, and I figure if it wears out down the track, it's something that's super easy to replace anyway. Do you use thimbles when you hand sew? I find particularly for English paper piecing, because I use quite fine needles, that the tip of my finger gets sore where the needle digs in, and I struggle with other thimbles. The ones that slip over your fingers I struggle because I have quite large fingers and at times long nails as well, so that can be difficult. There's another clover one that looks like a piece of armour, and that one's not too bad. I quite like that one. I like that one a lot for when I'm quilting because it's nice and firm to press against. But I do find that this little metal one is the most natural for me. I can stick it So it comes with little sort of double-sided sticky dots, and I honestly haven't replaced my sticky dot yet. So it comes with 8 sticky dots, I think, and I've had this for, well, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. But yeah, you can find out where your finger's getting sore and just press it on that part of your finger, and leaves all the rest of your finger free as normal to feel your thread and your project, etc. So I enjoy using it. There we go. Isn't that the world's cutest little drawstring bag? I'll just work out where to stitch it down. It sort of works okay, but I think we can make it even better. So just tie a half knot and then a bow. Okay, just like I've done before, I'm going to sort of applique stitch this down. So take a little stitch in the very edge of your piece, and then directly down where your needle comes out, go down into the quilting back, take a little stitch, and then come up again into the edge of your applique piece, then down into the quilting back, and so on all the way around. Okay, now I had an idea that the drawstring is going to work more easily if we've got sort of something to, pull. Often those drawstring bags have got like a bead that you pull up the length of the string to sort of secure it a bit more close, like that. And then you can just open the bag against the bead and get out your thimble, put it back in, pull the bead, ta-da! Now, I wonder how much thread we need off this. How much sort of thread is needed for it when it's open. Like that. About there. That should do it, shouldn't it? Yeah, that should be plenty. Let's cut it there. And finish off the ends with a knot. Are you ready for this? This is Leanne on camera trying to thread up as many needles as she can, so that she has a perpetually threaded needle in her needlebook. This is something I noticed when people were making horsewhips, and I was, happily watching the trend, and I didn't join in because I already have a horsewhip. However, in sort of researching them, I did sort of see this, needle and thread case where the needles are always threaded, and I thought, wow, that's a great idea. Of course, they're not really. Like, once you use them, you need to thread them again. But this is the concept, right? So I've threaded these needles with the same thread. You put them in your needle book threaded. And this will give me joy later, because then I have all these needles threaded up, ready to go. And I don't have to stop and start to thread my needle when I've run out of thread each time. Let's wind that excess back up. Should be able to do more easily off the elastic. See? Look at that, they're all threaded. Oh. I'm actually amazed how easily I threaded so many of them in one go. That was a win. I wonder what birdie's doing that. I can't recognise that noise. I'm not sure if you can hear it. There you go. All the things can go back in the pocket. So you know how this needle threaded thing works, right? So you take out your first needle and pull the thread as you go, being careful not to unthread your others, and then just snip your thread in between the two needles. So the next needle's still threaded, ready, waiting for you to go again. Now these scissors keep boinging open all the time lately. The little lock on them's not happy. Put them in that way. I'm going to get a pair of scissors that have got a sheath for the points, so that everything's protected as I'm travelling around with this little bag. Possibly don't need the rotary cutter in there either, because if it's going to be a portable solution, I'm not going to necessarily have a table, and I don't want to carry a cutting mat. So I think this might just be all sort of hand cut things that I work on in this kit. What's your favourite side? I can't choose. I love them both, birdhouse and the hydrangea. So cute. So functional. I love it. So that felt is working really well to hold project pieces down on the work surface. And I am partway through embroidering this little hexagon, little quilt-as-you-go. So this is one of the sizes of hexagon templates I have. So I'm just going to keep using backstitch to embroider this little flower, because I want to put one quilt-as-you-go hexagon on each pocket, and each hexagon will be made using that inner size hexagon template. So that just like with my yo-yos, I can see, oh, this template makes one that size. Have you seen my other videos on quilt-as-you-go hexagons? I've made a few little videos of different ones And it's a nice thing to do to use up your scrap pieces. And I just keep a little kit together so that when I'm traveling I can throw it in my bag and just keep working on them. And then one day I'll have enough to do something with. But in the meantime, I've had great joy of creating something tiny and cute with my scraps. Okay, so this is the part that makes it quilt as you go. So you just fold the seam allowance over once to the edge of the hexagon, and then again over the edge of the hexagon. So we've got a nicely encased hexagon, and then we just applique stitch that binding edge down. And then when you have enough of them, you can sew them all together like you would with a paper pieced hexagon, except that they're already quilted and puffy and finished, and you don't have to do a backing or anything. This makes me think I really do need to get back into finishing off my Japanese piece that's pink, and it's a lot of chain stitched faux applique flowers, Japanese crests. I say faux applique because it is making use of a grey pen, fabric pen, to colour in parts. So it looks like, you know, those parts have been appliqued down, but you've just dyed the fabric. So it's a very nifty trick. I will put a link to that video down below for you. So when we get to the corner, you just stop a little bit early and fold down your next piece, making sure it's sort of nicely mitered and that the edges are meeting. And then you go into your new side and stitch away. Okay, so I'm going to keep stitching down this lovely quiltasyougo hexagon, and I want to say thank you so much for sticking through the video with me and choosing to spend your time with me today. I really love having you here with me. It's what this channel is all about, stitching and sharing enjoyment together. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Don't be shy, say hello. We've got a lovely community here, and if you haven't already, and you've watched a couple of my videos now, could I ask you to help me out by clicking subscribe? It doesn't cost you anything and it helps my channel grow. And I'd really love to sort of see that feedback from you. So, this concludes my hexagon project. Who knew when Corinne asked who wants to make a hydrangea, how big this project would grow for me. But I have made a really functional piece that's really pretty, and I am loving using it. So I hope it's been of interest to you. Even, the separate little parts could come in handy in different ways for different projects that you have, or you might be inspired to try and make a bag like this for yourself, learning from my mistakes along the way and making improvements. Well, next time I will be back with a different project, so I look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Watch this next. You'll enjoy it.